I'm having a bit of a problem. I'm not really sure how to fix it. I've been lying here for about 3 hours trying to work out how to top that time that I did the dancing, because it was really funny, and it was really funny, and I really enjoyed making it, and I'm not really sure where that idea spurred from. It just kind of appeared out of nowhere, and then I did the dance got pretty mental, and everyone seemed to love it. But the problem is when you do something so iconic in this world, it's hard to do anything better than that. And people just come to expect the dancing in a Codex review video. So here's Codex Blood Angels supplement thing. Hello everyone, and welcome to Hellstorm Wargaming, and welcome back to our latest changes highlight review of the Blood Angels. The Blood Angels Codex supplement is in hand. If you want to see this Codex and its supplement in action with the Blood Angels army, then 2 PM today, the 28th of November, today, 2 PM, we're going to be playing live with this supplement. It's going to be Blood Angels versus Tyranids. It's myself using the Tyranids versus Elliot. Yes, Elliot is returning. He's playing his best boys. So, Blood Angels versus Tyranids live at 2 PM today. Don't miss it. Put notifications on. Subscribe as well. But otherwise, let's go through the changes. Let's have a look. If you're watching this on YouTube and you're watching the highlight reel, if it says highlight reel at the bottom, this is just some of the changes. The full breakdown, along with a lot of more in-depth analysis about this book, can be found at Hellstorm Premium. You can watch that right now. There's a link in the description down below. Just become a channel member at tier 3 and you can watch the full version, which is no edits at all. It goes through absolutely everything. This is going to be a short highlight reel just to give you some of the changes that's happened. But if you'd like to support the channel, you can do it by becoming a channel member at tier 3 right now, or you can do it at hellstormwargaming.co.uk. Otherwise, let's have a look at all the changes. So this book is relatively thin. I'd say it's a little bit thinner than the Space Wolf and Death Watch Codex supplement. Everything that was in the index is in here pretty much. And it's not all doom and gloom. It's just like your most common things that were lost, such as Upon Wings of Fire, Descent of Angels, etc. and like that. They are back, but they're not quite as good as they used to be. But let's go through some of the changes that I've pulled out. I've pulled out everything I can find. And we're going to do it in our traditional format. If you like this type of format, then do let me know. Let me know if you've got any ways I can make it better, then do let me know as well. It'd be really good. Otherwise, let's go through it. So this book has full rules for Blood Angels, but it also has full rules for Flesh Tearers as well. They count as a successor chapter, which basically kind of follows the same way as Crimson Fists work in their Codex supplement, in the Imperial Fist one. So essentially, they get all of the rules of the Blood Angels plus a few extra stuff. It just means that they can't take the relics as normal. They have their own relics to choose. So if you want to take a Blood Angels relic on a Flesh Tearer, you have to pay a CP, much like you would any other successor chapter. There's a new mechanic for Death Visions and for upgrading characters to the Death Company. It's called the Lost. You can upgrade up to 1 captain, up to 2 lieutenants per army to be inducted into the Death Company, and it has a points cost attached to it. So captains, it's 20 points. For lieutenants, it's 10 points. Essentially, they gain the Black Rage, which is something that you've already seen in the index, which is essentially like 6+, feel no pain, cannot perform actions, can't fall back, etc. They also gain Death Visions as an ability, which is something I'm going over a little bit later, where essentially they get like a once per game ability that they can trigger. The character can't be a warlord and can't take any other upgrades, such as it can't be a chapter master, it can't be a chief librarian, etc., or whatever, you know. Whatever captain and lieutenants can take, they can't be librarians. You cannot be a warlord and can't take any other chapter upgrades, which basically means you can't take a Death Company chapter master. It's just a captain. The abilities, the tactical precision and rites of battle only affect Death Company units nearby. It's only core units as well. But essentially, they are solely reliant on Death Company now. You can't make a Death Company captain reroll for anyone else. But they are excluded from the company command limitations, and this is basically in the Space Marine book. If you can only take 1 captain, 2 lieutenants in each detachment, these basically don't count. They count as they've got a different data sheet essentially, so they don't count as a captain or a lieutenant in them in that regard. After that, they were going to talk about stratagems. Now there are 17 unique stratagems in this book, I'm mostly comparing to the index, but I will reference Blood of Baal and the original codex as well, where I can, where I actually know it. I haven't really looked at them because essentially they were written out a couple of weeks ago now. However, from the index, you have lost Explosive Judgment, which was essentially let Angelus bolt guns reroll wounds and ignore cover. That stratagem no longer exists, and there's nothing similar for Sanguinary Guard, so kind of a bit of a shame. There's the two others that were, I think the Flesh Terror one stayed in, but there's two others that changed. It was Refusal to Die. This essentially is the same, but now it costs more CP for larger units. So it's 1 CP to give a 5+ feeling of pain or damage prevention roll to a Death Company unit. If the unit has 6 or more models, it's now 2 CP. The other one that changed was the Unbridled Adawa or Ador. I don't know how to pronounce it, my apologies. It's now 1 CP, but you can only use it on Sanguinary Guard. So before it was 3 CP, and any unit could heroically intervene 6 inches. Now it's just Sangard, but it's only 1 CP, which is pretty good. And then we've gone to the new stratagems, and I put new in inverted commas because some of them aren't new. A lot of them are rehashed from the old book, along with some nerfs, mostly. However, let's go over it. Descent of Angels, which is 1 CP. Use at the end of a movement phase, rather than the charge phase now, on the core jump pack unit that arrive by reinforcements that turn. You can ignore all charge modifiers for that unit, and you also add 1 to hit in the subsequent fight phase. So obviously this is a lot different than it used to be. It's kind of a shame. However, it's not a bad stratagem for 1 CP. I think I will say that a lot for a lot of the stratagems that have kind of gone and then come back, is that they're not bad, they're just nowhere near as good as what they were. So we then got Vengeance for Sanguinius, which is 1 CP to reroll hit and wounds against Black Legion units. It's only in combat, it's very similar to the Thousand Suns one, the Emperor's Executioners, etc. Angel's Sacrifice, which is 1 CP, and this is a really interesting stratagem. So you select a Blood Angels character, and enemy units that are in engagement range of that character can only target the character. So essentially, if you've got 2 units in combat, they can only target that character instead of any other unit they're in combat with, which is pretty cool, actually. You got Spiritual Might, which is 1 CP, which lets a Blood Angel Psycho cast 1 more power, which is really good because a lot of the Blood Angels characters know more powers than they can actually cast, such as Mephisto knows 3 sanguinary powers, but he can only cast 2 a turn, along with Smite. We've then got Visions of Sanguinius, which is 1 CP. So you choose a Death Company character who's either used Death Visions or not used Death Visions yet, and they can essentially use 2 rather than 1 Death Visions. You choose one of 3 abilities once per battle. This lets you do a second one, or it lets you do 2 at the same time. You got Angel Exemplar, which is pretty much ripped from another Space Marine Codex, is that you can just take a second Warlord trait. Then we have Warlord traits. Warlord traits are very similar to how they were in the Codex. Again, just a couple of changes, etc. So you have Speed of the Primarch, which is essentially always fights first. If you're in engagement range, you don't have to charge or anything like that. We then have Artisan of War, which is give the Warlord Adamantine Mantle, Artificer Armor, Mastercraft Weapon, Digital Weapon, and do not prevent him taking another relic. So this is very similar to the one that is in the Deathwatch Codex. You then have Soul Warden, which units within 6 inches, so it's all units, not core either, gets a 5+ save against mortal wounds, which is really good. Actually a really strong one, I think. There's then Heroic Bearing, which is +3 inches to Rights of Battle, Chapter Master, etc. to a maximum of 9 inches. And then Blood Angels core units within 9 inches gain 1 leadership, which is okay. It's not too bad. Gift of Foresight, which is number 5, which is Warlord can reroll 1 hit, 1 wound, and 1 save roll per turn. You then have the special issue War Gear. So you have Adamantine Mantle, which is ignore damage on a 5. You have Digital Weapons, which is if you score a hit with an extra attack, you cause more wound. And you have Artificer Armor, which is a 2+ save and a 5+ invuln. So everybody has that. Every other supplement has access to that as well. You also have some unique bolt weapon ammo. It's 1 shot. If it hits, other units get +1 to hit in combat against that particular unit, which is pretty funky. You have the Archangel's Shard, which is a really strong power sword at +2 strength, -4 AP and 2 damage. It's 3 damage against Chaos, and then 4 damage against Chaos monsters, which, when you're fighting demons, is very thematic, but also very bloody cool. You have Flesh Render Grenades, which you'll read now, and then you'll never read again, because it's D3 shots, it's strength 5, it's -3 AP and 2 damage, and it ignores light cover, and it's 6-inch range, with blast. Cool. You have Gleaming Pinions, which is quite decent. It's a jump pack model only. It lets you fall back and charge, and also lets you re-roll charge rolls. So, and then we're coming to nearly the end of the review, because we have unit change highlights, which is the Black Rage. As we've gone over, if you've got Black Rage, you cannot fall back. You get +1 attack if you charge or heroically intervene that turn. You get 6+ ignore damage roll, but you cannot perform any actions. However, for characters that are upgraded to the Death Company, they gain an ability called Death Visions, which Essentially, it's a once per game ability for each character. However, each death vision is unique, so multiple characters can't use the same one. You choose which ability you want to use when the bearer fights, and you can use this at any point in the battle. So there's 3 to choose from. The first one is On the Bridge of the Vengeful Spirit. To activate this, an enemy character must be visible to the bearer or the user, but then you get +1 attack for every 5 models within 3 inches. And then you reroll hits as well. Why not? It's not bad. They're okay, these abilities. The fact that you can spend 1 CP and do 2 of them on the same dude isn't bad, especially if he's the only Death Company character you've got. Overall, like, it's okay. It's not amazing. It's not bad. It's a free ability for 20 points, you know. To get 6+ Feel No Pain, you'd pay 20 points for that anyway. To get one of these as well is just like kind of like nice, you know. And that is it. There's compared to the Index, which have already seen loads and loads of changes for the units and the points, there's no changes in here. So for example, Sanguinary Guard are still -1 to hit in combat, they're still 30 points a model, and then the Magna Grapples have changed from the Dreadnoughts, etc. But from the actual Index, none of the units change and none of the points change. So I thought that was quite interesting. So I want to say once again, thank you much Games for sending this through. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Did you like the changes? Were you expecting something different? Are you happy with what we've seen? Overall, I think it's a pretty good book already. And I'm not just saying that because I've got it. It's just I do think it's a good book. I just think compared to some of the stratagems that you had in the last Codex and supplement, it's just kind of like lost a bit. Just lost the, not quite hit the mark in comparison. But also, that Codex and supplement for Smash Captains and for Death Company and for Zengar Regard was obnoxious. And this is still obnoxious, but not quite as obnoxious. But otherwise, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Love to hear what you think. And don't forget, if you want to see this Codex supplement in action, Elliot is going to be here. We've got a Blood Angels-ish army. We've got Mephisto. We've got Sanguinary Guard. We've got all the characters. You know, it's going to be great. It's live at 2 PM. It's a live battle report once again. People have been really enjoying the live stuff, so we're doing another one. So, live today at 2 PM. Myself using Tyranids versus Elliot using Blood Angels. It should be really good. Otherwise, guys, thank you very much for subscribing and liking the video and sharing it all with all of your friends, because I know you have. And otherwise, I'd love you to have a wonderful day. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye!